an ancient group of vascular plants and grow in a massive variety of forms, from trees to vines to shrub-like plants. They typically tend to have roots, a rhizome, and a frond. The leaves of a fern are known as fronds. A frond consists of a stipe, the stalk that connects the frond to the rest of the fern, and a rachis, the part of with any leafy tissue. In tree ferns, the rhizome has evolved into a trunk and has allowed ferns to continue to compete with gymnosperms and angiosperms. Ferns are relatively delicate plants that grow in areas where they are mostly suitable with moist conditions. They favor sheltered areas under the forest canopy, along the creeks and streams and other sources of permanent moisture. They cannot grow readily in hot, dry areas like flower plants and conifers. Ferns, unlike some other plants, do not flower like other plants. Instead, they reproduce sexually from spores. The life cycle of a fern is very different from the life cycle of many other plants. While many plants grow a mature adult form straight out of a seed, ferns have two different stages: sporophyte, which releases spores, and gametophytes, which releases gametes. Gametophyte plants are haploids and sporophyte plants are diploid. This type of life cycle is called the alternation of generations.
Gametophyte is one of the two alternating phases in the life cycle of plants and algae. It is a haploid multicellular organism that develops from a haploid spore that has one set of chromosomes. The gametophyte is the sexual phase in the life cycle of plants and algae. It develops sex organs that produce gametes, haploid sex cells that participate in fertilization to form a diploid zygote, which has a double set of chromosomes. Cell division of the zygote results in a new diploid multicellular organism, the second stage in the life cycle known as the sporophyte. The sporophyte can produce haploid spores by meiosis.
Sporophyte, which means spore-bearing plant, is the diploid multicellular phase of an organism that displays alternation of generations. The sporophyte phase develops from the fertilized egg, or zygote, by simple cell division. Sporophytes occur in a few algae and aquatic fungi and are universal in true plants. They differ greatly in size and level of complexity. In bryophytes, the sporophyte is short-lived and permanently attached to the female parent, upon which it is naturally dependent. In all other plants, the sporophyte becomes independent of the female parent soon after embryological development is completed and remains as the dominant photosynthetic stage of the plant.
The fertilized gametophytes begin to look like a mossy growth. After some time, young fronds will appear rising out of the moss. If direct sunlight falls onto the young fronds for an extended period of time, the plant may easily die. This is because the tiny stems are not strong enough to sustain direct light and will dry out. Once these tiny fronds grow larger, the plant has a better chance of survival. When the vines are mature, moisture from the ground will be transported easily to the outermost leaves, and the plant can withstand periods of direct sunlight. After the plant is large and mature, it will grow spores on the underside of its leaves, and the life cycle of the fern will begin again.